You know what nobody's talking about enough heading into 2026? The Blue Jays don't just have a starting rotation. They have a pipeline so deep that genuinely talented arms are getting buried. And Lázaro Estrada might be the best example of that exact problem. Let me put this in perspective for you. The Blue Jays have Ricky Tiedemann coming back, Chad Dallas developing, and a 40-man roster that is absolutely stacked with starting pitching options. So when a guy like Estrada shows flashes of legitimate big league stuff, it almost gets lost in the noise. But I've been watching this guy closely, and I think people are sleeping on what he actually brings to the table. Here's what makes Estrada interesting. He's a Cuban right-hander who signed with Toronto back in 2018, and his road to getting here has been anything but smooth. Tommy John surgery wiped out most of 2021 and 2022. The pandemic canceled 2020 before he even had a chance to build momentum. So by the time you're seeing him pitch in 2025, you have to understand this guy has basically been rebuilding from scratch multiple times. That context matters when you're evaluating what he's shown at the big league level. And what he showed was genuinely encouraging. His call-up against the Angels on July 5th, 4 innings, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks, 0. You give a lot of pitching prospects their first big league taste and they're nibbling corners, overthrowing, falling behind in counts. Estrada went out there and attacked. The fastball was sitting just under 94, which isn't going to blow anyone away in today's game, but the way he was locating it and pairing it with his secondary stuff made it play up significantly. That's the thing with Estrada that the numbers don't fully capture. His curveball and slider both carry excellent spin rates, and he's generating whiffs at a rate that suggests hitters genuinely struggle to barrel him up. His hard hit percentage against was notably suppressed in his big league appearances, which tells you this isn't a guy surviving on soft contact. He's actually missing bats and keeping the ball on the ground when they do make contact. Now look, I'm not going to pretend his 2025 was a clean story. It wasn't. He had that brutal 6th inning in the doubleheader where he hit 2 of the first 3 batters and it unraveled fast. His AAA numbers weren't pretty. A 4.75 ERA with Buffalo in the first half, and then a 7.20 ERA stretch down the home stretch when they moved him to long relief. There were real rough patches. But here's the thing I keep coming back to. One ugly inning in 7+ big league innings pitched is a sample size that deserves some grace. The underlying stuff is real, the spin is real, the whiff generation is real. And at 26 years old, he's not some aging prospect running out of chances. He's right in that window where pitchers with his profile can take a legitimate step forward. The problem for Estrada heading into 2026 is purely organizational. Steamer has him projected for about 25 innings, all in relief. ZPS is more optimistic if he gets a real opportunity. 88 innings, 17 starts across 24 appearances, projecting somewhere in the mid-4s for ERA and FIP. That's a back-end starter or a bulk guy, which actually has real value. But getting that opportunity means guys ahead of him on the depth chart have to either get hurt or get moved, and that's not something anyone wants to root for. What Estrada needs is a 2026 that looks like his 2023 or 2024, consistent, healthy, building on what he's already shown. A 2.83 ERA season like he had in 2023 gets you noticed. Another stretch like that with Buffalo and the phone will ring again. The Blue Jays added him to the 40-man for a reason. Organizations don't protect arms from the Rule 5 draft because they're giving up on them. They protect guys they believe in, and Estrada is clearly one of those guys internally. Will he crack the big league roster in 2026? Probably not as a starter out of spring training, but as depth, as an emergency option when the rotation inevitably needs it? Absolutely. And sometimes that's exactly how guys force their way into permanent roles. Keep an eye on him.